Happy darshan to everyone. Yesterday there was a beautiful birthday we were celebrating here. And great being came into existence who envisioned the whole Rashi, Namaste Rashi. I remembered this beautiful story of Anurakta who was once lost in the universe, and in his dreams, and he went to somewhere into other galaxies, and he wanted to go back to Earth and didn't know how to do it, and aliens were asking him where you should go. He said, Earth. There are millions of galaxies. Where is that planet? It is a small planet, Earth. There is Saturn, there is this star, there is the solar system. Yeah, but there are so many solar systems. There are mountains, Himalayas, there is these rivers, oceans. Yeah, but there are so many oceans, Himalayas of different types. There is these empires, Roman Empire, this empire, that war, this war, Industrial Revolution, French Revolution. Doesn't ring the bell. And then he says, Sri Aurobindo. Oh, Sri Aurobindo. It's here. That was his dream. And I think it is a very valuable dream. Because what will endure after all that? There will be a shift, and there will be something valuable to remember, and that would be Sri Aurobindo. This is how we know our Earth. Oh, Anuradha ji, namaste.
Namaste, Kshameta Mama. Anyayika Varga Asita. I'm like
It can't be otherwise, I know. I'm here just to say hello and then switch off.
No. I plan to sit through now.
Usually that's the case. There was no other way. And so, yeah. Yes. Okay. So we are starting a big adventure and beautiful adventure, and that is ongoing. I don't know whether we will ever end this story of the hymns to the mystic fire. Sri Aurobindo wrote the book, as you know, and he took major hymns of Agni from different mandalas, starting from the first mandala and with the last one, but not all the hymns, on the selection of hymns. And still, his indications, his translations, his keys which he gives us are so important for us, because with these keys we can translate other hymns. We can connect all the meanings together into one kind of vision of the Veda. Well, I will not talk to you why the Veda is so important, because we know already that it is important. Yes, it's the beginning of all beginnings. Everyone in Indian literature, every possible scripture refers to the Rig Veda. Taittiriya, all this Yajurveda, it's like 40-60% of Rig Veda. Everyone refers to Rig Vedic verses. Samaveda is 80% Rig Veda, or 85. All Rig Vedic verses put into the singing tone. Atharva Veda is a bit different, but because it's altogether joined the party quite late. Yeah, that's why we don't have Brahmanas of Atharva Veda, though in itself Atharva Veda is a very ancient text. And Sri Aurobindo never tried to translate Atharva Veda. I mean, Atharva Veda is ancient in its topics, because it has this archaic magic structure. Yes, it's all about curses, healing, and so on. Rigveda doesn't have that. Rigveda doesn't have curses. It's always invocations to the higher powers. Doesn't have that kind of urge to get one's own. Aryan. That is Aryan with us. the youngest and the brightest. He is resting now from his New York University at home, finally. Yes. Great. So this is the vision of Rig Veda is something which is going even beyond all other Vedas in some way. I think that is the Veda of the Vedas. Though in Vedic tradition it is considered to be one of Yajurveda, Samaveda, and the Rig Veda. They are infinite texts, or the eternal texts from the beginning of time. And it's quite interesting because the Rig Veda is brought by rishis to each Manvantara. And from the beginning of Manvantara, the Veda is brought down and given to humanity. And the humanity takes this Veda and continues to memorize it and to follow it up, build up the culture, build up the cults around this text, involve them into rituals, everyday rituals, and to these, according to the stars, according to the full and new moon, and so on and so forth. And on that ground, the whole society and all the relations are built slowly, gradually. All other commentaries come into existence. All other considerations, philosophies join this vision and build up on that ground. So you can imagine what it is. But every time when new Manvantara comes, Manvantaras are big portions of time, consists of Mahayugas, of Satya Yuga, Treta, Dvapara, and finally Kali Yuga. All these yugas, these are periods of time which constitute Manvantara, and between Manvantaras there are pralayas. There is the gap there when the group soul withdraws as the individual soul withdraws, the group soul also withdraws and goes into the slumber of some kind. Yes, Anuradhaji.
Question I wanted to have, I just wanted to understand, does Sri Aurobindo or anybody talk of the fact that is it like a destruction of the entire creation, or only where humanity, or the more conscious species takes birth, is that part of it that gets destroyed, or the entire Brahmanda gets destroyed and
Most
again it comes?
probably, it can't be totally destroyed because we have a continuation on Earth. Yes, it continues in terms of evolution, so it can't be the whole destruction. I think it is a withdrawal. I think, if to think historically or in physical or material terms, it is the withdrawal of the group soul, which we represent. Yeah. So if Manvantaras are huge numbers of like millions of years, there was a withdrawal before, and then again engagement, and then again withdrawal, and then again engagement. So every time there is a new plan, new vision, and this new vision is built on the ground of the Veda. That's why I'm talking so long, because the Veda is the plan of the group soul. So that plan is brought down. And it is quite interesting to see it, that in Indian tradition, it is the same story. Huh? You can see that everything refers to the Veda, to the beginnings, in every way, not just in one way. Huh? In every way. Rig Veda refers to no one. By the way, there are references in the Rig Veda to the older hymns already, like Purva Rishaya and Nutana. From the first hymn of the Rig Veda you hear, yes, yeah? Agnif Purvebhih Rishibhih Idyo Nutanai Ruta. So Agni, who is to be adored by the previous rishis and by the modern ones, and that is in the time of the Rig Veda, modern rishis. Yeah? He should bring here the god Sai Deva, Devan Eha Vakshati. He should bring here the gods on earth into our physical existence. So these gods are there. The rishis Nutana are there, and there are Purva Rishayaha, the first rishis, or those first 7 rishis, yes, who represent the constellation of Big Bear or Deeper, Big Deeper, that 7 stars which are pointing to the Dhruvam. Dhruvam is the polar star. And a polar star is interesting because it holds the whole our galaxy. It is the center of the galaxy around which all the stars are moving. So that is the constant in our galaxy, which is not moving. All the stars are moving around one star. And these 7 rishis are pointing towards that immutable something, the center of the galaxy. It's amazing if you think about it, how cosmology and Jyotisha and everything comes together with rishis. And they are called Riksha. That Riksha is the bear constellation, Big Bear. And from here we have Arctica, Arctus. Arctus in Greek is the bear. And Arctica is that where the white bear lives. Yeah. Because there is this Riksha, the bear constellation of 7 rishis. And it's amazing if you think that all this is connected in a way. So Rik Saha, the one who says Rik Veda. Why I'm saying about Riksha. Riksha itself, etymologically, has something to do with rich, with in Russian, rech. Rech is the word, the speech, and also the flow. The flow, the speech, and richat means also to roar. Yeah, a roar, to give sound, to emit sound, to create the rik, the word, to manifest the word. And that is a riksha, the bear constellation of 7 rishis pointing to something indestructible in our cosmos, which is not changing. So these 7 rishis, they bring every time a new Rig Veda or new Veda, it is the beginning of each Manvantara as the vision for humanity to follow. And there is a very beautiful statement by Sri Aurobindo that he says in his studies on Rig Veda, that Veda was our beginning, Veda will be our end. This is quite interesting. I am even quoting there in our newspaper, in our newsletter. We are producing newsletter. This quotation from Sri Aurobindo. Veda was our beginning, Veda will be our end. Everything is packed there. We didn't yet discover it totally. We are still beating around the bush trying to discover what this Rig Veda is about. It's a vision of the group soul for this Manvantara. And since Mother said that there will be no pralaya between this Manvantara and the next, no pralaya, no withdrawal of the group soul. We will gradually move towards Satya Yuga. There will be a transition towards Satya Yuga. Yeah.
On a lighter note, I said we might not need to withdraw the group soul, but we might be pushed out by ourselves, the rate at which we are going.
Well, it's a very critical time. Yes, we are fighting with our old mentalities, our dogmas, our belief system, our animal belief system. Animal in the worst sense, not in the best, because animals are much better than human beings in this way. At least they don't disturb the equilibrium in nature. because they don't have free will, free mind to do that. We tried it out. Gebser beautifully speaks about this critical period of mental structure as very, very intense, destructive, critical, but needed. And we have to go through it very fast. The faster we go through it, the better it is for all of us. The longer we stay in it, the more we destroy. It's a very destructive period. What it does, according to Gebser, is quite interesting. It reorients our inner mythical structure, which always orients itself towards the past. Because, like, where did we come from? Where should I go back home? My soul returns to the source. We're always looking back towards the origin. Yeah? In the religious sense, look, all religions speak about coming back, return, or of prodigal son returns, and all these ideas to come back to the origin, where we came from, instead of going forward. So what mental structure does, it reorients this soul search for the truth towards the future. And look what Mother and Sri Aurobindo represent. It's amazing. They speak about exactly this. Look towards the future. Mother says, your family, your happiness, everything is in the future, not in the past. Don't look to the past. We have no time to look to the past anymore. We look towards the future. So now, what are we doing now with the Rig Veda, which is from the past? In this case. Rig Veda was our beginning and it will be our end. It is our future also. So we are looking at Rig Veda with futuristic look, not with the look of some, scholar or academician who wants to figure out what was there within the structure of the language and what food they ate and what cloth they wore. That's basically what they do. Yeah, they try to recreate the environment in which Vedic rishis lived. We are not doing that. We are looking for the elements which are reorienting us towards the future, which are needed for us now to go forward. That's what Sri Aurobindo did. Yes?
Sri Aurobindo also has this beautiful quotation where he says that the recovery of the perfect truth of the Vedas is not merely a desideratum of modern intellectual curiosity, but a practical necessity for the future of the human race.
Yes, absolutely. And the sooner the Rig Veda will be recovered in that way as the help for humanity to go forward, the better it will be for all of us, I believe, and for India first of all. If India cannot recover the Rig Veda, I'm sure Upanishads are great, Gita is great, everything is fine, but there is no origin, there is no connection to the very intention of this group soul to go forward and to realize something within this manvantara. We must have that key. We must have that access to the deeper sense. And look at India. Everywhere there are gurukulas still. They're still going on, learning by heart Rig Veda. Can you imagine they will be recovering the meaning of it? What it could give. Whole India will be like blasted with nuclear weapon, Everybody will be opening to the highest knowledge. And seeing in meaning in everything, in Upanishads, in the Gita, in the Tantra, everywhere, the meaning will be recovered immediately from the Rig Veda. I think, and Sri Aurobindo will be understood. There would be no difficulty to understand Sri Aurobindo anymore. So we must do this work. And Sri Aurobindo did this work till the last days of his life. The last writings on the Rig Veda are dated 49. He stopped already dictating Savitri and he still was making notes somewhere on the Rig Veda. from the archives. This is something interesting. Some verses he was interpreting here and there, or 47, maybe I've said 49. I don't remember, but some in the late 40s. I will check and will confirm this. I mean, don't want to tell you something wrong about Sri Aurobindo. But I remember how impressed I was that Sri Aurobindo still works on the Rig Veda. Okay.
What about the different gods that's being used in the different verses, the Indra, Varuna, Agni? Like, do they also represent some propelling towards that future? Like, is there any connection? Like, why are those gods particularly, like, why are the verses dedicated to those gods particularly?
Right. You're right. Here there is much to say because Varuna is the vastness of the divine consciousness and purity. Will that have something to do with our future? Or Mitra is the luminosity of the divine consciousness. Or Aryaman is the power of the divine being. Or Bhaga is the divine bliss. Of course they will have everything to do with our future. They're there waiting to be rediscovered again and again, deeper and deeper, and more meaning and connection to the manifestation. Definitely. Indra is the action of the higher mind or the overmind with intuition, with this lightning. Will there be lightnings in the future of these intuitions? Yes. They will kill all the darkness. They will destroy all the ignorance. More and more flashes of the higher mind, of the overmind. And as it is said that lightning itself is made with the light of the sun, of the supramental light. So though it is over mental level, but the over mental is already kind of translated or transformed into more applicable form, more action-oriented or time-oriented action, it is still coming from the supramind. So will that be in the future? Definitely. All that is meaningful for us in the future.
Vladimir, how is this related to group soul or the group consciousness, the emergence of the group consciousness?
To the which consciousness? Blue?
Group consciousness.
Sorry. How it is to relate to the group consciousness?
You mentioned something about Rig Veda related to group soul.
Right. And you notice that Rig Veda doesn't speak in terms of individuals. Yeah? Very rare you hear I, me. You hear us, for us. Yeah, we. We are always we there. We move. Bring for us. Bring here. You will never hear, not never, sometimes you hear because in the speech the rishi has to speak. So he speaks from himself. But when he invokes the gods or godheads for their action, you could hear that it is for us. It's always for us. We are the group souls. It's for humanity, and not only for the humanity, for the whole nature, I think. Also for the animals and for the greenery, for the stars, and for not animated nature also is included.
Vladimir, I have a question. Is this the first class or the second class?
It is the first we are meeting first time.
Okay.
But
as the river was flowing, I just came and joined in, and I was thinking, because generally you would start and you tell how it's gonna go and everything. So I wasn't sure if I missed something. I just wanted to clarify.
No, we all already did this so many times, how it goes and what it is. It's just, we are all in this topic. We are in we know what it is about. So I would not tell you things which you know, unless you want of course, then.
No, I meant that generally you would always explain before the course, no, these are the things we're going to do, or this is how we'll do this or something. So I was thinking
Yeah,
that
we are
this
chatting.
is the part.
We are chatting only now. How course will be, we have to decide. So after this kind of prelude, saying hello to everyone, this hello most probably would be the best part. Now we will come to the discipline. What is first? What is next? So how do you envision to do it, ladies and gentlemen? You see, we have all the ladies and 2 gentlemen. You have some suggestions? Shall we take hymn by hymn? Shall we read the introduction? Shall I send you introduction to read? I will make, I have my files prepared, hymn by hymn, so to say. I already did the work, not once. But every time I do the group, it depends on with whom we are doing. If people are interested, open, searching, it is an amazing exercise. It's not that I will be talking, you will be talking. You listen, you are hearing, you are listening, and you're listening to a particular sense and meaning, and it comes because we are the group. We are calling it. We are calling to this meaning. And the Veda is unique in one way. It always opens a new vision, fresh vision, vast vision. There is no end to that vastness. Yeah, it's always new, fresh, surprising. I read so many times. I know hymns, many hymns by heart, and still, every time you read to yourself, there is something new coming up. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I was just thinking that my little bit of study with the Vedas, it seemed it did to me, basically my understanding of things, is that what it does beyond, let's say, the Gita does, or maybe even some of the Upanishads, is that it answers that primordial why as to things are happening. It takes us back to that which is underlying all the surface meanings that we attribute to this or that. The Vedic story is not concerned with these, it is concerned deeply in a sense, because what we decide now will impact that larger game that is at play. And so I'm always reminded of that Matrix movie where they say that we are looking out for those people within this matrix who are ready to reconnect and take forward that larger work. So the Vedas, going back to the Vedas, always helps us to reconnect to that original purpose of that original battle of light and darkness. And so I personally find it extremely moving and inviting at the same time to explore.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you for sharing these. Yes, it comes to the origins, to the backbone, to the very purpose of this life and consciousness and being, to these fundamentals. It doesn't deal with some kind of secondary issues, some other thoughts. Yeah. Aryanji, you are saying something.
I have a question, and maybe it's not something that can be answered straight away, but I was hoping that through the course of this study that it can be answered. That I know there are a lot of interpretations of the Veda that are out there, and I was wondering if there is any way in which we can validate the authenticity of Sri Aurobindo's interpretation of the Veda. I mean, I know we can take him at his word, and that is the truth, etc. But if I were to try to prove that his interpretation is the right interpretation, how would I go about doing that?
Very valid question. By the way, you can see it. I have this academia page, and I put my my articles there once in a while, and there are discussions going on. Somebody, printed article, and many, especially in India, Sri Aurobindo is not accepted. They believe that he's, kind of fantasizing something on the Veda. He was not part of our system, they say. He is not a part of parampara tradition. He didn't sit in the Gurukula learning by heart all the Vedas, so he has no right to speak what it is. And I was so angry with this. I was typing there. If he would be part of your parampara, he would come with nothing, no proposal, no fresh look. He would be already engraved in everything you do already. And what has happened, that people who learned Vedas by heart, they have hardly any time or any place or any energy more to view it from fresh, distant perspective. Sri Aurobindo learned Greek and Latin. He was a poet himself, and then he comes to these treasures, and they open up the meaning to him, and his experiences come. So how can we validate that Sri Aurobindo is not just wishy-washy, but something real? And I will tell you how. I have two validations for myself. One is language. Language is real, hardcore validation. Every term, as Sri Aurobindo says, if it is used in this particular sense, if this sense is not applicable in other hymns, it is a wrong meaning. Now, if we can check it, this is checkable for any scientist. It's not something I made up. That it's, if you start reading the interpretations of Sayanacharya, you will see that in one hymn he interprets the same term in 3 or 4 different ways. Absolutely inapplicable. Rhythm as a food, as a water, as a truth in one hymn. Now, this is something tells us that his interpretation is wrong. Can't be true. So, because we do not have that consciousness, that vast consciousness to see it, doesn't mean that it is not correct or that they messed up. Yeah? We don't see it. So we have to work on ourselves to see what it means, and not just to try to interpret the text that it would be applicable to our consciousness. So we have to follow the text. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, you have a vision when you follow right the text. The bliss comes to you. You feel the presence. And if that presence is not there, something is wrong. Maybe you are correct in every word, but there is no bliss. So yeah. Yes, Aryan.
So since the Vedas are deeply symbolic as a text, I remember in Secret of the Vedas, Sri Aurobindo talks about this kind of algebraic exposition where the symbols are recurrent in a manner, right? But if these symbols, and I'm sure that these symbols are not simple things, like these are complex ideas, which is why they have to be symbolized in the first place, right? So what if somebody were to say that Sayana interprets the same word in 4 different ways, because the symbol itself is that complicated that it allows for this like meaning to diverge in different ways. I'm just trying to.
Very good question. If it fits really, if these symbols like the horse is the power, yeah, and speed and swiftness, and we associate it with physical being, yes, and that quality is standing out, and it is clearly symbolic, representative of the swiftness and power, then yes. But if it is just made up something which is totally inapplicable, so to say, and misunderstood and not connected, if the physical symbol does not embody at all the quality of the psychological, then you have a problem. Or you shift so far away that you say that Indra was a chief in the village, some kind of, and whom they sent villagers whose cows were stolen by Dravidians, or some kind of thieves who stole the cows and hid in the cave somewhere nearby in the mountains, and the chief was to go and to recover them, and he drank soma. Soma is some kind of alcohol, and became very courageous and sat on the horse and went there and brought the cows back. Of course, it fits physically somehow, somewhere. But is it really that beginning of Manvantara, or that group soul message, or for thousands of years, thousands of generations of Brahmins learning by heart these texts to transmit them of that meaning? That some villager, some chief, after getting drunk, recovered some stolen cows. I don't think so. So it would not be worth preserving. And we have evidence from Upanishadic rishis who are closer to our time, and they speak about Rigveda as a supreme knowledge. So what is there of the supreme knowledge? We respect Upanishads, as Aurobindo says. It's very strange that the Western tradition loves Upanishadic rishis and their philosophy, but they cannot understand the Veda. And the Upanishadic rishis refer to the Veda as the supreme knowledge. So there is somewhere a gap. You see, we didn't cover the gap. So Aurobindo, for the first time, really covers that abyss, that gap. And he explains even why that gap appeared, as you know. You know about this. Why that gap appeared between the Vedic knowledge and the Brahmanic knowledge, Brahmanas. There is a huge time gap, like 2,000 years between the Rig Veda and Brahmanas. Brahmanas are trying to recover the Vedic knowledge in the ritualistic and mythological terms, because the knowledge was already lost. That deep, profound knowledge, unity, union. Somebody wants to say something? I don't hear. No?
Yeah, so I think like in the initial chapters, when Aurobindo says about the philological and the psychological methods. So I think unless it makes sense philologically in terms of consistency and psychologically in terms of a narrative being created which is uplifting, and makes you aspire to something. If these two are not met, then it does not make sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are two chapters in The Secret of the Veda. One is philological, a method of the Vedic rishis, and the other is psychological. And these two chapters must be read, and you will see how he justifies this and how they are connected, philological and psychological. This is what we had the course on etymology, how the sound and meaning are connected. It's a deep marriage, the profound original marriage between the language the rishis spoke and the knowledge. Knowledge is inbuilt within the language. Language itself, the hymn itself, becomes a teacher. You don't need the guru who tells you what it means. You need to know the language and read the hymn as your own. And if you repeat, if you dwell on it, the knowledge will arrive. And this is the beauty of the Veda. Veda can illumine you directly without you going to somebody to tell you what it means. It's not the case with other writings. It's not the case with Tantra, for example. You need an initiation of the guru who would explain to you and give you what to do. Veda doesn't need that. Yes.
Also, there is one experience I've had when I try to, when I read the hymns, is that to make sense of the hymn, you suddenly feel you've risen, and you catch it. And then when you want to share it or write it, it's gone, and then you have to keep doing it. And maybe after years, as one of the poets says, drop by drop, peace comes dropping slow. So here, this knowledge comes dropping slow.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is something. I mean, it is a very good training of the mind. Also, I feel studying of the Veda, that the higher mind, uh, the training to shift your consciousness to the higher mind. Because
Yes.
only then you connectedly see everything fall in place.
Yes. And these images, each image is better than, it's like images, you see them. It's really, they were seers. How beautifully they describe it. If you know the language, you will really see this, what he says, yes. How the fire is emerging out of the darkness, was released. He was like an imprisoned, as a prisoner in the darkness, and he was released out of the darkness. The great Godhead was released. And I don't know what it is in this simple phrase, the great Godhead was released out of the darkness. And you have it embodied. Somehow they found the way to say it in such a profound psychological way that we all carry it, we all resonate. It's as if they resonate with the whole humanity there. And it tunes towards the truth more and more. Every verse is a tuning process until you become very sharp, very sensitive towards the truth. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So when you're asking how you want us to, I think this is exactly like this is what happened in the previous course. So that's why I said, whatever it is that you want to teach, I want to learn, because there is that bliss and that experience of the expansion in which you feel so at home. It's mystical, yet it is so real. It's tangible. It's real, and it can sort of. It's like this, like the Dhruva. That one that star, and rest everything like dissolves into oblivion, because this is the truth and that experience. So for me, I think that's how I'm looking forward to having that experiential class. I mean, of course it has the psychology and all of that, but I think if it becomes extremely scholarly and pedantic and all of that, I may just lose interest, because I want to live it instead of debate more from the intellectual point of view.
Yeah.
Is how I'm, maybe because I'm an artist, that's the only way I grasp the universe. So
we all want that is the cream, but before you do get the cream, you have to little to churn a bit that milk. Otherwise the cream will not come so easily. We have to dwell on the hymns, we have to go deep, but every time we will do with this experiential look, a vision. We want to see what Rishi wants to say. We want to have those archetypes, to come to life in us. And these archetypes in us, when they are living and vibrating, they manifest the new consciousness. Yes.
So if I may suggest that, if it's okay for everybody, maybe we can just start in the same sequence as Sri Aurobindo wrote the hymns to the mystic fire.
Sure.
Because that's how it must build, one upon the other.
Right. And notice we chose only Agni. Within Agni, of course, there will be all other relations with other godheads. There will be Indra, Vayu, many of them, Varuna, Mitra, all of them are actually Agni. Agni in sacrifice, in this sacrificial or transformational process of nature. So this, when nature is being transformed by higher consciousness, Agni is the link. Agni is the will which brings these divine forces into action. So that's why in one hymn it is just listed one after the other. Agni is Varuna, Agni is Mitra, Agni is Indra, Agni is Rudra, Agni is Vishnu. Agni is everyone who comes here to do the work. But if he is there, he is not coming, not reaching out to us, then he is Vishnu. Then he is in his own domain, Varuna, in Varuna's domain. But the moment he comes to act, that will be the Agni who will be burning and transforming with his presence of that Godhead behind. Yes. You want to say something? No?
No, I just have a
Aryan.
logistic question. Okay, sorry.
Aryanji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere, and I may be slightly off in the quote, but I'm gonna hazard saying it anyway, at the cost of being pedantic. So there is this quote somewhere that says that the Vedas were at some point couched in still freer forms of human speech that were more ancient, right? So maybe one thing I would be very interested in is seeing how Aryan speech and Sri Aurobindo's work on the origins of Aryan speech link up with the Vedas, and sort of an exploration of like the sounds of the godheads themselves and the possible intentions behind them being named so. And perhaps that is a way in which a very concrete understanding of the symbolisms can be made. Like that could be one approach.
Very, very well. We tried to do this in our etymological class, exactly that, to make that connection between the simple sounds, how they build the roots, how these roots are used in the names of the godheads, and what it really means, how it works out. And we will be doing it all the time. This is our major approach when we do philological analysis of the hymns, of the verses. We will come immediately to the etymology of the roots, of the names of the godheads, everything. Yes. Without etymological view, we have no access, and we do not have that knowledge. Knowledge is hiding behind this etymological, psychological sense of the sound. It's an amazing construct, and it actually gives us some light onto our human speech, how we at all speak, and what is this speech? Why suddenly? Yeah, I choose the words in this particular way. I choose this word and not this word to say the same thing, because I feel that this word is expressing better than this. Yeah, today we discussed the same thing in Sanskrit class. I feel that the word huge ocean expresses better than the big ocean. Big is bulky and heavy, and huge is extended and vast. How do I know it? How do I know that huge is vast and big is heavy? By the sound.
U and E.
Yes, U and E. U is extending, holding the space from within, whereas and huge and it has this kind of fluidity in it, with the space, whereas big is like a piece of heavy metal of some kind. Of course, it's solid, but solid is not the same as extended. Yeah, so I feel that, and when I want to express that vastness, I will be choosing not big ocean, but a huge ocean automatically, because it is inbuilt within the sound. Yeah? And that's how rishis are doing. That's how they choose the words. We will see it, that they play their roles there. They will build up the picture. You would feel the picture, see the picture, and psychologically it would be very, very productive.
So we have just 10 minutes left. Should we start?
If today is kind of blah blah, yeah. But it is tuning. We are tuning that we are in the same group. We want to know this group that we will be doing. It so much depends on the group. Truly speaking, you don't know how much it depends on with whom you are doing it. I've been through many groups, and I must tell you, the group is decisive. If you are tuned to it, if you are aspiring for it, the meanings are coming. Okay, was nice catching up with you. It's a great group. I hope we will do. Of course, we didn't do an introduction. Maybe everybody knows everybody. Charles, do you know our people from here? No, or do you know Charles? Charles, say a few words about yourself. Just a few words.
For myself, I understand that the creation becomes self-aware in a feedback system. I'm in a feedback system with you, and that you're also my upagurus. So everything that I hear, I'm running it through different ways of understanding. I'm a top-down learner with model. Because what happens is I discovered many years ago that I only believe what supports my belief system. So when I can combine several belief systems together and overlay them, new information presents itself. And the Vedas are a true pure template that I can lay physics and I can lay various sciences and understandings on, and it reveals a different level of truth for me. So however you want to proceed, it really doesn't matter, because everything that I hear from everyone loops back into me, and it changes what I perceive. And I'm very happy to be with you. I've been laughing most of the time. This is not an academic pursuit for me. It's a navigational system of self-discovery and self-awareness. And I'm really very happy to sit in this circle with you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Charles. Charles has a clinic of well-being, and they did a lot for us, for our center here, with body electrical, with all kinds of, we discovered their clinic and became very good friends. So many presentations did, many workshops for us with Teresa together. Teresa started to learn Sanskrit with me online, so it sounds like something. Yeah. Great. So, and Rashi, yes, few words, just few words, please, because it's important that he also knows. Did you meet anyone from here, Charles? Do you know some people? No. Okay, please go.
It's not important. The knowing of everyone will be what comes out of everyone's mouth and heart.
Sure.
So that's another level of discovery for me, that level of authenticity.
Lovely. Great. And still, one word, Rashi.
One word? That's it, one word.
One word and few more. What do you want? What is your message? What is your
message? Vladimir asked me for an actress to give a message. I'm a theater director, and I have created many workshops on mother's qualities using theater, music, art, movement, and meditation, which I've taught in various universities. And that's how Vladimir and I were colleagues. And I was a tourist when I landed in ashram. And it's 25 years that they just said, do my work. And I'm just doing. I don't know much. I haven't read much. Whatever I hear from them is what I do in my workshops, in my writing, in my theater, is what I do. And I'm very happy to be here. I know Gitanjali because she was in the Rashtam course, which I'm learning about Sri Aurobindo now. I think it's 25 years too late, but yes. And I say hello to Anuradha because she is in IIT Kharagpur, where when I came from America, that's where I started my theater company. And rest of the people, Preetu was in our previous class. And rest of the people are new friends. Yay, I'm super excited. And Vladimir is like a magician, so I love him.
Yeah, we worked together in our university and in the same kind of on the same topic that was science of living, and so developing the qualities, 12 qualities of the mother and faculties of consciousness. I had the whole curriculum there. It was a very promising time. Unfortunately, it ended very fast. Okay, Anuradha, can you say a few words? Anuradha is also a very special being here, professor of Sanskrit.
So presently teaching at IIT Kharagpur, like Rashiji said, teach Sanskrit, Indian psychology background. Grew up in the ashram school, so I think that's my greatest privilege of many lifetimes sadhana to have got that opportunity. And Sanskrit Putri of Vladimir, and that's
Putri means daughter. We are playing this game with her that I am Pitashri and she is Putri because we were in these
goes back many
shiras.
years. Yes, yes, yes.
Lovely, lovely. We did a lot with Anuradha and many different sessions in IPI and meeting online and so on and so forth. It's a friendship for many years. Yes, Preetu, say a few words.
Introductions are always difficult for me. I just always get confused that what should I say and what I shouldn't. But basically, I really love being here and listening to whatever you say. And I met Anuradha ji first in IPI, and then I was part of the course which she was doing. And yeah, I know Rashi obviously, and I'm meeting Charles for the first time, and also with Gitanjali ji. I think she did a talk in which I was there. And I like to be here for experiencing it and then making it more livable in my everydayness. Yeah.
Thank you. Gitu and Aryan, few words.
Aryan, I am studying film and philosophy.
Film
In
and philosophy,
college.
can you imagine?
And I really love Sanskrit. I remember we used to study Sanskrit together in the Vedas.
Right. Aryan is brilliant in every way. He is composing music. He's doing films. He writes super poetry. He is a great writer, actually. Very nice power of speech. Somehow he mastered a word, English word and Sanskrit, and everything is going easy for him. And it's that, brilliance of age and more, and Gitanjali is his mother. Can't say that she is the mother. It's kind of sitting like brother and sister. So Gitanjali, say a few words.
Yes. So the best thing about myself is I like being his mother and bringing him up. Now he's on his own and flying, but I'm currently setting up a university in Ladakh. I've been going to the ashram since the age of 16 and began studying Sri Aurobindo and was introduced to Sri Aurobindo's philosophy by Amal Kiran. Couldn't have been a better, way experientially, Rashi, as you were saying. So I saw a yogi at work and at fun in Amal. And then began studying the Vedas with Vladimir. And it's such a story that I was looking for somebody who would know Vedas in the light of Sri Aurobindo and would also know Sanskrit. And I was enrolled into an MPhil, and I decided that I will not have any guide unless these three are, fulfilled. And till a day before, I didn't have anybody. And I go to the Samadhi, and then I go to this place called Sakar. And then the first talk there was Vedic Vision in the Light of Sri Aurobindo by Vladimir Yatsen. And he starts it with the Sanskrit shloka, and then he's talking Vedas in the light of Sri Aurobindo, and everything came together. And after his talk, I just went to him. I said, I have appointed you as my guide, and let us go for lunch. And I said that I've been looking for this for last 10 years, and you are just going to be. And then that's how that was in 2007 or 8. And ever since we've been studying, and the same world that I do matters.
Yeah, we became good friends, and Aryan was still small. So lovely it was to visit them in Chennai. Yes, Aryan was growing. We were playing rock on the guitar. He was. They were doing everything: karate, you name it, gymnastics, dance, music, everything. So it was a very, very interesting time, very beautiful time. Somehow that time is gone, yeah? We are in another, it's just another world. Yeah. Strange world, anyway. Unknown, looking at us, breathing with some kind of coldish air into our neck. We do not know what to expect from it. Dolan, would you say a few words? Dolan is... yeah? Hello? Are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Dolan. Please say a few words. Dolan is joined us here. I came to know Dolan from US already. She is in the West Coast. Yeah, Dolan, please.
So I have a scientist background, but I came to know Mother Sri Aurobindo in my
Can
high
you show
school.
yourself? Is it possible to click on camera? Do you have it?
I don't know, like...
Start video, that people see your face.
I don't think I'm in a very good position to see.
Oh.
I'll just try, but...
Oh, 7 o'clock in the morning. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
No, but that's okay. But so I came to know of Mother Sri Aurobindo in my high school when I was in Chennai. But then our family moved to Delhi. So since then, I was a visitor of the Delhi ashram regularly for the next 10 years, like till I moved to Canada. And in Canada, after coming, I have been always looking for something like this, like as everyone was mentioning, like because I was intrigued by Sri Aurobindo's works, but obviously I didn't understand them like very well, especially the Vedas and different the hymns of mystic fire and everything, like because they have a very philosophical and an ancient background, and that which I don't have much knowledge on. So it always intrigues me. So it's really nice to be attending your sessions, especially with that Sanskrit background, because I had been always very like impressive about Sanskrit, but I haven't learned that very much. So it always intrigues me how well you teach and how well you bring in the presence, and especially in the Gita sessions that we attend on Monday. So it always intrigues me. So I'm really fascinated to be over here and attending another of your talks on this.
Well, it's a group which will be discovering the Veda. Okay, it's some kind of study group. Let us say study group of the Veda, because we have study group of the Gita, which also goes many ways. Yeah, but here we will be more concrete. We will be building around the hymns. We will hold our attention onto this, rather than just moving around too much. It's only today. Today is only like this.
Okay. But would we be having the same Zoom link every time, or like the same Zoom joining? Or
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. So see you then next time. Yeah, 15 minutes later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night. Good morning. Whatever it is.
Good
Have
morning.
a good
Good
day.
night.
Bye-bye.